My name is Saurabh Suri. I'm the managing partner and chief investment officer for CerraCap Ventures. CerraCap Ventures is an early stage technology VC, and we're focused on three areas of the technology market: cybersecurity, AI, and health tech specifically. And that too, we look at companies in the B2B, that's the business to business or the business to enterprise sector, and really look at very early stage companies and help them grow almost exponentially.
Okay, so my name is Ritesh Agrawal. I'm the managing director at CerraCap. I'm primarily responsible for fundraise from Latin America as well as managing the portfolio companies, and specifically on the AI side, I'm more involved.
Couple of things that we look at, in terms of our venture capital model, and I'll start it from our deal sourcing ability. So we don't look at, and traditional Silicon Valley VC firms, they look at very geographically specific, whereas we actually look at it globally, right? So we source our deals globally because innovation is happening globally. We operate locally within the US environment and the enterprise space, but we've seen phenomenal companies, for example, in cybersecurity come out of Israel, in health and health tech come out of the UK. We're seeing phenomenal companies in AI and AI enabled coming out of Southeast Asia. So that ability to look at the most proprietary deal flow globally and pull it in, right? The second aspect, we're looking at companies that solve problems. But the way to look for a company to solve problems is first you have to know what the problem is. So we have a large network of CIOs or chief information officers of Fortune 500, Global 1000 companies. So we understand the problems, so we can actually look for companies that solve them. And third, and frankly the one closest to my heart, is our model of what we call the sales and scale model, which is a differentiated business model where we invest in a company at a very early stage and then actually help it grow. Now, what does it mean? Every VC says that, right? We actually help bring in the initial purchase orders to an early stage company, right? A normal early stage company going after, a Walmart or a Costco or a Safeway, anything of the sort, has about maybe a 12 to 18 month sales cycle. We bring that down to 3 to 4 months. Most of our initial investments, their first 3 or 4 marquee clients actually come from CerraCap, which is the sales aspect. And this is how we also do our risk mitigation. Normally VCs do risk mitigation by spreading the dollar. We invest in very few companies and risk mitigate by getting them that revenue that sets them up for the growth, which is the sales aspect. The second is the scale aspect, and something I tell a lot of my CEOs is that I'll get you an enterprise tomorrow, but what happens the day after? The amount you have to scale to meet the demands of such large clients is through the roof. And that's where we have an ecosystem of a huge number of engineers globally that we bring to bear in these companies. And what we found with our track record in the past and even our current funds is that this is leading to exponential growth, but in a sustainable format. So these are the core differences and really the ethos with which we came in and started CerraCap, which is first identify the biggest problems that startup face, right? Which is getting the right clients, validating the technology, and then get on the path to scale, and which is how we operate.
In my experience, what I have learned over a period of time is that Latin America specifically is the fastest growing market for the new age technology like AI, machine learning, deep learning. And the primary reason I see is that they have been lacking on the adoption of the technology for a very long time, and they have figured out that this is the new age oil, or the technology and the knowledge economy is the key to the success for the 21st century. So now they are getting into that, hey, you know what, if you have anything which is a disruptor, a lot of incubation, a lot of talent coming from there, even university programs, they are getting more towards the technology or that to new age technology. So that's where I'm seeing that the change is happening, and I believe in next 5 to 10 years, Latin America, most of the innovation will come from the Latin America to the North America.
In the three areas we look at, and I'll talk about trends more from a CerraCap lens, which is an early stage lens looking at 3 to 5 years down the line. So starting off with AI or artificial intelligence, as it were, and we're almost seeing AI come close to commoditization. But actually, Ritesh, you want to talk a little bit about AI?
Absolutely. Thank you, Saurabh. So I've been deeply involved with the AI and the portfolio companies that we have. What we are finding is that every other company is claiming that they are an AI, machine learning, deep learning company. But actually, if you go and look under the hood, they are not. They are the big data analytics company that happen to put the machine learning on top of it and start claiming themselves a machine learning AI company. So what we are finding the differentiators are, or the good deal flows that we are looking at, and that some companies that we incubated, is that the talent that you have, they have to be true AI talent, right? Then only you can build a top-notch AI company. And that is where, and Saurabh is going to talk about the differentiators that we have. We always go and look for the talent first before we actually start looking into what kind of concept of the products they have. And other thing on the enterprise side, when you go and sell these products, right? So enterprises, they think that is a flip of a switch, like you come and you implement tomorrow, and there is a magic wand and things will start coming out, right? AI is a journey. It takes time for machines to learn. And the analogy that I give always is like when the kid is born, your child is born, it takes 17 to 18 years for him to get trained in a proper fashion for a commercial world. So think about these machines that we are training today for any domain or any skill. It takes time for them to start spitting out the results. But if you have the right talent, if you have the right kind of money invested, and if you have the right environment, you can literally build a magic.
True. So going in AI, one of the biggest trends I'm seeing, and finally I have to say, is companies that are actually trying to solve problems. So we are finally moving from an area, oh, here are some beautiful complex algorithms and some complex data, to here's a problem we're solving. And that's what we're even looking at from a CerraCap standpoint when we chase it. You go to the world of cybersecurity, one of the most fascinating areas today, because the evolution is very quick. Yeah. There are the threat actors, or people who are trying to hack, and hackers on the one side, and the protectors on the other. And the level of evolution is extremely fast. Our focus and what we are seeing, the trend in the market in cybersecurity, is moving from almost stoppage to preventative. Right? So the cybersecurity market is now, and with actually implementation of a lot of AI and algorithms, is looking at preventative solutions, predictive solutions, right? A few years ago, one of the biggest problems was actually unknown malware, right? Where everybody could stop known malware. You know, that's why you used to have the pop-ups on your computer saying, update your virus definition, because somebody would infect 100,000 computers, the antivirus guys would create an antidote and push it to your computer. A little bit of closing the barn doors once the horses have run out. But now we see the trend where we're going into preventative and predictive forms of cybersecurity. The second trend, and one of my most, the one we're following most closely, is a little more ubiquitous cybersecurity. Earlier, when you talked about cybersecurity, it was your laptop, it was your server. These are called endpoints. Now everything's an endpoint. My toaster is called Pop-Up Willie because it's a smart toaster and it's an endpoint, right? So ubiquitous cybersecurity, which goes into all of these devices, and you can give them, there are a lot of these monikers, us geeks in the technology world come up with IoT, TOT, OT, etc. But really it's the endpoints and ubiquitous cybersecurity covering all of them, right? So that's another area that we're seeing a lot of investment go into.